borrowed 20 on a Tuesday. Said you'd send it when you got home. I remember because you laughed, like neither of us would forget. A lot of things happened after that. New apartments, different jobs, people came and went, the way people usually do. But every now and then, something small brings it back, like finding an old receipt at the bottom of a drawer. It's funny what survives when everything else disappears. It isn't about $20, I could lose that any day. It's just strange how something so small found a reason to stay. The conversations faded, the photographs did too, but somehow that unfinished payment still sounds a little like you. Still sounds a little like you. My friends think it's a joke now. They bring it up when we've had drinks, ask if interest should be added after all these years. Maybe they're right, maybe it's nothing, but every story needs something to keep it from closing completely, and ours happened to cost $20. Not enough to matter, too much to forget. It isn't about $20, I could lose that any day. It's just strange how something so small found a reason to stay. The conversations faded, the photographs did too, but somehow that unfinished payment still sounds a little like you. I don't want the money now, I wouldn't know what to do with it. The number stopped meaning anything a long time ago. But if it suddenly arrived tomorrow with no explanation attached, I think I'd sit there for a minute and laugh. It isn't about $20, that's never been the point. It's about all the little things that never got resolved, the plans we never finished, the words we never used, and one small debt still quietly connecting me to you. You borrowed 20 on a Tuesday, and honestly, you can keep it. The invitation sat on my kitchen table for almost 3 weeks straight, under grocery receipts and unopened mail, like maybe it could decide itself. I almost threw it in the trash twice on a Wednesday night, then bought a dress on Saturday and suddenly changed my mind. My friends all had opinions, most of them involved staying home, but curiosity has a funny way of sounding reasonable alone. So I showed up 15 minutes late, just enough to miss the entrance. Good to see you, congratulations, you both look exactly right. I smiled from across the ballroom like it was any other night. Good to see you, congratulations, that's all I really came to do. Funny how you looked more nervous than I expected you to. The flowers were all white roses, the cake was taller than it needed to be. Your uncle still told the same stories, just to a different audience this time. I was seated with distant relatives, 2 rows back and to the right, close enough to see your expression, far enough to stay out of sight. The Then you turned and saw me laughing. It's something somebody said. For half a second your whole face changed before you rearranged it again. You recovered pretty quickly, but not quite quickly enough. Good to see you, congratulations. You both look exactly right. You came over during cocktail hour with surprise still in your eyes. Good to see you, congratulations. I said it like I meant every word. You asked me how I'd been these days, like you hadn't already heard. 30 seconds of small talk, a handshake and a careful smile. You introduced me to your new life, like I'd never known the old one. I noticed your hands were shaking slightly when you lifted up your glass. And suddenly the years between us didn't feel that large. Not because I wanted you back, not because I had regrets. I just realized I'd finally stopped imagining this moment. Good to see you, congratulations. I hope the evening treats you well. The band will start in another song by the time I said farewell. Good to see you, congratulations. I left before the night was through. Some chapters don't end when people leave, they end when you can smile and mean it too. The valet brought my car around. The air felt warmer than before. I sat there for a minute, then drove home without looking back. You brought it home one afternoon, balanced on the passenger seat. Said it needed less attention than most things usually do. We put it by the kitchen window, next to the coffee machine. Neither one of us knew much about plants, but that never stopped us before. The first few months were mostly guessing. Too much water, not enough light. A lot of learning by getting things wrong. Somehow it kept hanging on, still growing. 3 apartments later, 2 different jobs and 1,000 ordinary days. Still growing, a little taller every spring. Funny how the plant survived longer than we did. The pot is chipped along the bottom from the move across town. I almost threw it out last winter, then noticed a new leaf coming in. The care instructions disappeared years ago. The tag got lost somewhere along the way. Now I mostly trust experience and check the soil before I worry. My friends ask why I still keep it, like it's some kind of responsibility. Maybe it is, or maybe some things become familiar before you notice they matter. Still growing through every season after us, the rearranged furniture and different names on the mailbox. Still growing without asking much from anyone. Funny how the plant survived longer than we did. I heard you're married now, a mutual friend mentioned it casually, the same way people talk about weather. I nodded and changed the subject, then came home, opened the curtains and watered the fern the same way I always was still growing, new leaves reaching toward the glass. No dramatic lesson hidden in it, no grand meaning attached. Still growing, that's really all there is to say. One thing left, one thing stayed, one thing kept finding reasons to remain. South facing window, Thursday evening, a little water and another year. First day, somebody quit at noon. Nobody looked surprised. The manager handed me a name tag without even asking if I'd stay. The break room clock was 5 minutes slow. Everyone knew except me. I spent a whole week showing up early, thinking I was finally getting somewhere. The coffee tasted like warm cardboard. The chairs complained louder than we did. Every shift felt 1 hour longer than whatever was written on the schedule. Still, every morning I came back, not because it paid enough, not because it looked good on paper. Something about that place kept finding a way to pull me through the door. It was the worst job I ever loved. Bad uniforms and broken equipment, counting down the minutes every day, then missing it when it disappeared. The worst job I ever loved. I swore I'd leave 100 different times. Funny how the things that wear you out can end up staying on your mind. There was a guy who always sang off-key, stocking shelves in aisle 3, and somebody who brought homemade cookies every Friday without saying why. The printer jammed at least twice a day. The air conditioner picked favorites. Some corners of the building felt frozen, some felt like the middle of July. We learned each other's coffee orders. We learned who was late and who wasn't. We learned how to laugh at situations that probably weren't that funny. Looking back, most of my favorite stories started there. Not because it was special, not because anybody planned it, but ordinary days kept piling up until they quietly meant something. It was the worst job I ever loved. Bad uniforms and broken equipment, counting down the minutes every day, then missing it when it disappeared. The worst job I ever loved. I swore I'd leave 100 different times. Funny how the things that wear you out can end up staying on your mind. The building's something else now, different sign above the door. The parking lot looks smaller than it did before. The people scattered everywhere, different cities, different lives. But sometimes when I hear certain songs, that place comes back for a while. I remember the noise, I remember the boredom, I remember wanting out, I remember staying. It was the worst job I ever loved. Never thought I'd say that out loud. Some memories arrive all polished up. These never did. They still carry late shifts, cheap coffee, bent name tags, and